Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too. We'd like to thank our sponsor, iZotope, the absolute leaders in intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. At iZotope.com, you'll find a plethora of tools and suites that will enhance your audio production, whether it's voice, video, podcast, or a full production recording session. Check out the industry-standard audio repair tool, RX11, or the multi-tool mixer plugin, Neutron 5, or the powerful Ozone 11 mastering suite, plus tons more. Go to iZotope.com and use the code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 to get 10% off at checkout. And again, the website is iZotope.com, IZOTOPE.com. What's happening? Welcome to Hyphenate Halftime, your Monday morning jolt of Jolt Cola. Appropriate this week even more than last week after we watched the 1995, our third 1995 film starring, the Hackers, starring Angelina Jolie, Johnny Lee Miller. Today is Monday, July 21st. We're going to talk about last week's interview with journalist and library scientist Ned Raggett, but I got to bring in the man who makes every Monday better than Garfield's Monday, Mr. Aaron Farley. Did that make any sense?
Yes.
I ran out of steam at the end.
I do feel like I've eaten a couple plates of lasagna for some reason.
Perfect. That's great.
Yes.
I like that we were making, last week we made jokes about Jolt Cola, and then one of the first things I see in this week's Sci-Fi Science Film Fest was all the hackers drinking Jolt Cola in the film Hackers.
Yes.
Wild. It's prescient.
Yeah.
Almost.
And Jolt, it was such a crazy thing. Like I definitely remember not like just going like, I need Jolt Cola, and my parents like, no, what are you, crazy?
This would never happen in our house.
It's the worst. It's like so much caffeine. I mean, we didn't really have like it was kind of a treat to get like soda, or you'd get it if you went to McDonald's or something like that. But we never really had soda in the house.
What's Jolt compared to like Red Bull or Monster now? Is that like half the thing?
Oh, yeah. I bet that it didn't even have that much caffeine in it back then. I bet it was all just a marketing. I mean, we could look it up, I guess.
Oh, okay. See, the AI overlords brought to us by Google have told me that Jolt Cola generally has a higher caffeine content per serving than Monster Energy. Your mic's freaking out.
Oops.
Got quit pouring Jolt Cola on your microphone. A 16-ounce can of Jolt Cola can contain around 160 to 280 milligrams of caffeine, while a 16-ounce can of Monster Energy contains around 160. Oh, well, I mean, just barely more.
But it was only a 12-ounce can back then. It was so you're packing all that into 12 ounces?
Maybe.
What about sugar?
I don't even know. Sugar content. Both Jolt Cola and Monster Energy can have a high sugar content, but it's important to check the specific product and its label.
Yes.
Wow.
Thanks, AI.
All right. How much caffeine is in Jolt Cola? Oh, this one's saying Jolt Cola is 200 milligrams of caffeine. May seem like a lot. It's nowhere near the leader. What?
Oh,
jeez. I don't know. Now I'm going down a whole rabbit hole.
I feel like they tried to bring Jolt Cola back.
Oh, recently. Well, this Celsius Heat packs a whopping 300 milligrams of caffeine for a 16-ounce can.
What?
Celsius leading the.
How much does a cup of coffee have?
Consuming at least 200 energy drinks with about 200 milligrams of caffeine or more than 400 milligrams a day of caffeine is considered excessive for most adults.
I would imagine.
I don't know. I mean, I have like 8 shots of espresso every day. That's not too much, is it?
I can't hear. My ears are ringing. This is 5 cups of coffee.
Oh man.
I feel like 1 cup and 4 cups is the same.
Of
You
coffee?
feel like, yeah, if you're just kind of like
Oh
slowly
no.
drinking, like sipping on coffee for a couple hours, I don't feel like I feel like the first
Here,
little
tap your mic
jolt
again.
of
I'm just
energy.
curious.
Oh, is it better?
That's better.
Hold on.
Oh wait, no, that's worse. Okay, there you
Oh,
go. That's fine.
uh,
That's fine.
there we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that better?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it could just be the caffeine ringing in my ears, the blood whooshing by my eardrums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have a funny relationship with caffeine because I definitely like caffeine, but I feel
Yeah.
like I'm naturally wired pretty high,
Oh, right.
to go. Like there's days I'll go without coffee and I'll feel no different.
You're fine.
So and then there's days where I'll just like, oh sure, I'll have some coffee, and then I'll drink like a giant like thing of coffee, and I go, all right, I feel the same. I don't really, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe my
You wake
receptors are
up
just
and
burned out. I'm just not really like finding it. Yeah,
you
I wake
wake
up
up
pretty
and you're
high.
ready to go.
Yeah,
You're like
kinda.
ready to run.
I usually have like 6 songs playing in my head, when I wake up, and
Yeah.
then like 4 different Simpsons like loops going, and then something. I do find that and again, this may be, I think we've had this discussion in the past of this ADHD or sort of like
Yeah.
multi-brained sort of thing that's really come into focus later. Like, oh, that could be that could be what you call this. But
Yeah.
just that feeling of the caffeine does sort of do the Ritalin effect, where it speeds me up more, that everything kind of gets slower.
Yeah.
And I kind of find myself focused. If I focus on a task, usually I've had a few cups of coffee and I can kind of just lock into one thing.
Helps you focus.
You know what I mean? But it's like, so it's almost has the opposite effect in some ways, where it's like, this is so relaxing, so mellow. I mean, I don't know if this is, this is the giant tumbler of coffee that works for me. I don't know what this Yeti cup of thing is, but I do a bunch of espresso and then soy milk and sugar.
That it chills you out. It chills you out.
Yeah, it's a very relaxing kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
It kind of takes the edge off versus I think my normal speed is pretty like excessive.
Slows you down a little. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. I feel like that's for me too. I feel like the cup of coffee, I never really feel super tired, like, oh my God, I have to wake up. But I do get that, like, the first couple sips of coffee is very relaxing. All I want to do is sit down. I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm like, it like resets me a little bit. Now a Jolt Cola, I don't think, but I do think I think that a lot of those things, and it goes with like Starbucks and everything else, is that it's the interaction with the coffee and the massive amount of sugar.
There's something to that combo.
Is like, yeah, it's most. I mean, let's be honest. I think the biggest issue in any of our diet or anything is sugar.
Sure.
I mean, like, there's too much fat. You're like, well, there's a lot of fat, but there's also like 7 cups of sugar in those waffles or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine that's probably a bigger issue than the caffeine's probably fine.
I remember hearing a funny thing about Starbucks where they were like the biggest like milk seller on the planet. That really, like, it's at least 50, if not, 70% of all drinks have some kind of milk in it. You know what I mean? That's a big thing for Starbucks. So it's like, they're like, where else do you ever buy milk to go? You know what I mean? You'll buy like a gallon of milk, but the amount of milk that's purchased and sold for like, per the cost of milk that you buy at Starbucks is really the, like the secret leader. You know what I mean? Where it's like, really, they're just selling milk all day long. That's it.
Starbucks is just keeping the milk business going.
Yeah. The big dairy is just in on Starbucks, because if you think about like how much, it's a couple shots or it's a couple, ounces of coffee, but really all of those drinks are just milk and sugar.
Right. Right. It's like how like the record label or the record industry really was just a way to upsell plastic.
Yes, right, yeah. By oil and petroleum products, it's like, no, we've got plastic,
it's like vinyl
wrapped in plastic, cut them with and it's a plastic disc instead of a plastic case wrapped in a plastic wrap.
Yeah,
make sure,
Yeah,
That's
and before that, it was vinyl, but then there was a lot of cardboard involved,
oh
and
my
they're like,
gosh.
let's
Well,
cut
yeah.
this cardboard part out, and we'll just sell plastic, and then a little bit of paper.
Well, that's like our good friends at Good Neighbor Vinyl. Where they're
Oh, right,
doing the eco-friendly, sustainable version of vinyl records. They've figured out how to do that in a more sustainable way.
right.
Go visit Good Neighbor
Yeah, they
.com.
were a
Good Neighbor Records. Good Neighbor Vinyl. Yeah.
podcast guest like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, maybe. Right.
Probably
I think it was
year and a half.
around the beginning of this year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. We should talk about Ned Raggett and his journalistic extravaganza and his beautiful voice. But before we do
Oh
that,
my God.
I wanted to talk about your hair. We started having a hair conversation
Oh yeah.
before the mics were rolling, and I went over a decade of cutting my own hair, which I think is sort of the unspoken rite of passage of men past a certain age.
Yeah.
You're just like, I have clippers, I'm fine. It's doing whatever it's doing.
Well, I don't think that. Yeah, when I was younger, obviously, I used to go get my hair cut, and then in high school, I had a glorious mullet for a lot of years, and so then I would just get like the top cut, and then I realized when I went to college that was lame. This was like 1990. This is 1993, and I
Okay.
still had a mullet. But I was from Spokane. We were like back then, without the internet or anything. Like you're still a couple years behind.
Did you have sleeveless shirts as well? Like no sleeves on those
No,
shirts and long
no,
mullet?
I wasn't
Okay.
like I didn't have like the backwoods mullet.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
have I didn't have like
The
spiked up on top.
Pacific Northwest mullet.
Yeah, it was just long in the back and maybe a little like real short on the sides.
But no
A little
lines
bit of
shaved
like
in.
Metallica,
Okay.
like Jason Newsted kind
Got
of
it.
like shaved on the side, metal mullet a little bit more, maybe. Not super metal though. It's just a mullet. I liked having long hair.
I had the
And then,
mushroom haircut, like shaved underneath and then like the curtains parted in the middle
oh
on top.
yeah,
That was the
yeah.
popular thing, and around that same
You were
time I
lucky
was
to be
a
from
little younger.
California, where
Yeah.
people would tell you your haircuts were stupid if you had bad haircuts. I was just in a place where everyone's like, I don't know, man. We don't know.
Whatever.
No one
Whatever.
knows. No one
It's
knows
not
what's
Seattle.
cool. And yeah, and then and still some people still kind of had mullets back then. I don't know.
It's got it's
Metal
having a
guys
comeback.
definitely did.
Yeah,
Metal guys definitely did. And then
mullets are coming back.
definitely. And then I went to college, but I didn't want to just chop my hair, my back. Like I didn't want to chop the mullet because there's so much of my the who I was the fact that I had long hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I just grew the top out and left the back kind of in a ponytail and wore a hat
Nice.
for like 6 months until it all got down to like my chin, and then I cut it all the way around.
Sweet.
Yeah. Which seemed like forever, but I think about it now, and I'm like,
you had the grunge
totally,
bob. Yeah.
totally, and that probably was like 5 months, but it seemed like it was just took forever. And then I had long hair for a couple of years, and then I shaved it, and then since then, this was like 95, I don't think that I ever went like quote unquote got a haircut
Since 1995.
Yeah,
This
I
is your
just cut it myself.
40th anniversary of your last haircut.
Probably. And then I would just cut it when it felt like I needed to cut it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I first moved to LA, we knew someone who worked at a hair salon, and I feel like maybe I got a haircut from them because you could smoke and get your hair cut at the same time, so it was very cool. Yeah.
This is like Floyd's Barbershop, or what were those ones? The Silver Lake ones? Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. And then but then from then I'm like, they're kind of, I don't know, I can do this. I feel like my hair's always messy anyway. I might as well, like, I don't need it perfect. I'm not like a perfect hair guy. And then the last time I got like a real cut from a barber or from a hair salon was right before we got married. And I'm like, you know what? I'll get a good haircut. And they totally screwed up my hair like 2 days before the wedding.
For all the photos, for all the wedding photos.
Yeah, so it was like, because I actually have very curly hair, but it's curly and like it goes all over the place. There's like cowlicks all over the place and stuff. So I'm like, you need to cut it dry. You need to cut it dry, because if you cut it wet, you'll
It's gonna
think you got
flip
it,
out.
and then all of a sudden this side is going to go, "Whoop," and it's going to, and then this side's going to go, and then she's like, yeah, totally. And then you get the shampoo and they cut
Fuck
it
it up.
wet, and I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks, bro. And so then that was the last time, and that was 2005. And
Wow.
so since then, I had long hair. I wanted long hair for when Lila was born. So in all the pictures, I have long hair of when we have a new baby. And then I cut it shortly after that, I think. And
That's
then
so
ever
funny.
since then, uh, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm in my 30s and 40s. Should I really have longer hair? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then my hairline receding just enough to be like, well, if I grow my hair out, it's going to look weird. So I just keep it short. And then I
love
got
it.
a pair of clippers, like I told you, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I put it on number 4, and I just
Go to town whenever.
Yeah.
I remember Dean's cousin, Dean from No Age, his cousin Marie would cut hair at the Smell sometimes. So I would I would get haircuts from Marie at the Smell, which was very nice. She would do it for like $5 or $10 or whatever it was, and just trim up hair.
That's smart.
She saw us all greasy hair, disheveled.
Cut up the punks.
Poor kids. Then she would trim everybody's hair at the show. So that was really nice. I'd get those haircuts, and then I bought the clippers. The kids don't care for the clippers now these days. I thought my kids would love that during the pandemic. I would just buzz all their heads every other month. They didn't want to do that. They thought it tickled them and was frightening or something.
It was weird.
Yeah. But I used to have those clippers, in the 90s, and I have great photos of me just like shaving all my friends' hair in the 90s. Like we'd do the under thing, start with that, and then at some point by the mid to late 90s, by 95, it was just all just short haircuts. And so a number 4 to number 7 or whatever, and just you're good to go forever. But this and then just recently, and then I had it longer, and I would just kind of trim with the scissors. And then just recently started taking the kids. Our oldest son has curly hair, which was really easy to cut. We just would kind of cut it at home, a couple snips here and there, and it just all curls back up and looks good. But our youngest has very straight hair, and it's so funny because anytime we ever like put scissors anywhere near it, it just instantly looks fucked up.
It looks horrible.
Yeah, there's no way if you don't with straight hair, with hair that's that straight, it's almost impossible to cut yourself.
Yeah.
So we start taking him places, and when he goes, I'm like, oh, I'll get a trim. And these ladies are always like, who cut your hair last? So there's an investigative like history, like they're trying to do forensic, science on my hair. Like, why does your hair look like this? Like, you haven't come in here before, have you? I'm like, no. They're like, okay, good, because we'd fire somebody if you ever got this haircut.
Don't want to know.
Yeah, like, and I always say, oh, I did it at home. They're like, okay, no one's getting fired then. And then now I've been going back to the same place, and she's gotten to know me, and she's figured it's grown out enough to where she's working on her own platform, and she can work with that. She doesn't, don't touch this. Just come back in here. We'll fix this for you.
Yeah, we're building for the future here, Randy.
Yeah, stop.
We're not like it's one at a time, and then by the time we get to the 3rd or 4th one, we're going to be in a good spot.
We'll have something to work with here.
Yeah.
You got a bug on your shirt, on your right, your other right. Oh, did you get it? Okay, I just saw it. Climb up there. Maybe it's in your shirt. If you feel biting, then you'll know.
I'll try to make it really dramatic.
Happening live on the air. Yeah. Anyway, but she was, this last time I went in there, she was telling me, she's like, oh, she's like, you're lucky you have hair to cut. She was saying her son is around my age, and he's just fully bald with a big beard. Like, that is definitely an option for men our age to just do the full bald with the beard.
Luckily, the beard has come back has become popular again.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can balances it out. No hair on top, beard on the bottom. That does.
It does become weird though, because I do see, especially as I get older, I feel like I don't. Have you gotten this where you don't recognize people as easily? This has been happening to me.
Because of the beard? Face
just
blindness?
in general.
Oh,
I've had a little bit of face blindness, which has been weird. I've had 2 times where it happened really distinctly, where I turned around and I didn't realize.
Now the bug's on your other shoulder. These guys are really going for your shoulders. Do you not see it? It's right there, coming on the forward. It's on your collar.
Oh,
it's coming down. Oh, you got it.
That's my buddy.
Oh my God, sorry.
Buddy right there.
Sorry, it's the summer bugs.
Yeah, I had it happen 2 times. Once, I was at a bunch of friends went to a comedy show. This was years ago, and I didn't realize one one friend that I hadn't seen for a little while was
Mm.
going to be there. And he turned around and I was talking for a second and I didn't realize, and this was like a really, really good friend of mine. And I
Damn.
didn't realize it was him for like 5 seconds, but it was really weird. I could still see his unrecognizable face in my head.
Huh.
It was very strange. And I went,
Are you
"Hey,
sure?
what was that?"
Are you sure you say you are who you say you are?
Yeah. And then once I realized who it was, they literally flipped into the person that it was,
Whoa.
right? Like they became like, oh, my brain just locked on to all the old memories and went, juggled their face around a little bit. And we're like, nope, it's that person. And then this also happened to me when I was back home or in Spokane visiting my brother and and my mom. And we were at the old spaghetti factory. Shout out to the old spaghetti factory.
Classic.
And and
OPF.
my brother, who still lives in Spokane, was talking to these two people, and I went up and was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Blah blah blah, and we were talking, and it was my friend Corey Passons, who I grew up with, like, you know, in high school, all through junior high and high school, best friends, and he was like just a totally different person, and then he was just like, "It's Corey," and then my brain just went bloop and like redid his face right in front of me,
Wow.
and it was like my best friend from high school, but I had no idea. It was and I still
That
remember it, just looking and watching his face go. Bloop.
takes a minute to remap someone's face onto their new face.
Yeah, in my brain, I guess it does.
Yeah.
And those are the two main times. It's happened a couple other times, but just really quickly. But
That's wild.
what I've realized though with people and their beards, whatever that has happened is that I have a really tough time seeing like all the dudes in the beards and thinking like, is that one of my four friends that is kind of bald with a beard? And sometimes I can't tell.
That's hilarious.
I've gotten to the point to where I
Wonderful.
know there's a couple that, because I know that that's the only person that would be here. And then when I hear them talk, it's like my brain clicks in.
I see
But
other,
I have gotten
I,
like some weird face blindness.
I see other dads at like at school pickup and stuff, and I'm like, I know this guy. Is this an actor? Is this a friend? Like, have I known this person for a long, or is this just some random? And then it's like, I think I've just seen him at pickups before. Like, we never actually talked, but there's a familiarity with it. That's a that's a funny one. That's just of like parenting age. You're just like, I don't know. Do I know you? Did we grow up together?
You get the head nod.
Yeah, you get the head nod.
Like, have we nodded heads multiple
this
times?
Seems very familiar. Yeah, maybe. But then you talk to him, and you're like, no, I don't know who you are. What the fuck are you doing? Why am I talking to you?
Yeah,
this is like stranger danger. God damn it.
Parent life is weird because when your kids are young, you end up having a bunch of new acquaintances that then become friends, but it's friends because the thing that you have, and it's kind of like being at an office. Like, you have a thing that is like, you know, you're going to see this person every day,
right,
or every other day, or you're going to go to birthday parties or whatever. So you're friendly with them and you become friends, but only during these kind of kid things.
And now during the summer, you realize you don't see him at all, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, or even when your kids get older and like all of a sudden they're not friends with that person anymore, and you're like that kid, and you're like, oh, I guess okay. I guess we're moving on to the new parent.
Well, there's
friends.
Yeah, I mean that's so funny. There's probably parents that go to that you know, whose kids are in the same class, school parents who I see more and talk to more on a daily basis than I do to my real friends. Or like people I've known for like 20 years. 100%. I'll see these, but then I'll see these school parents every day, drop off, pick up, events, birthday parties, soccer events, things. Yeah, we talk all the time.
And you become really friendly with these people. Yep.
But if you never saw them again but if they moved away, 2 miles or went switch schools, like, nope, I got nothing.
That's exactly what happens, because you as the kids grow older too, that you're actually doing less kids. You end up doing less kid stuff.
Right.
So like the kids are kind of on their own, or they have a smaller group of friends, people that they hang out with, or you just drop them. You're not with them anymore. Like they just are like, oh no, this is a drop off birthday party. That happens to me sometimes now. Like the kids well, towns. Lila just drives herself now, which is crazy. Like when Towns is like, oh, we're gonna go to a birthday party. I'm like,
I
is it
inside? Is
drop-off,
this?
or are their parents there? And you have to see if there's cars parked outside, and then if there are, like how many. Because like, well, I don't want to walk in, and they're like, oh, take a seat. And I'm like, no, I'm fine.
I
Yeah.
was just in
But 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 it is weird as you get older. You're like, wait, I had all these friends when the kids were little. Like there were all these people around, and you just saw adults all the time. And everyone, I think, also that has young kids are looking for adult conversation.
right.
So
Yeah.
so
You're
you
desperate to talk to anybody other than your children.
yeah,
First.
you just open up your like, yeah, this is fine. This isn't someone that we would usually be in the same like place, because I'm usually at a show or at an art show, or
Yeah.
and there's certain groups of people that you're used to talking to, and now you're like, oh, I guess I'm in the group of lawyer dads now. Or
there was
talking to
one, yeah, there was
like,
one family that was part of the same daycare or the same like preschool thing, but they were like the white leather couch family,
hmm,
you know,
yeah,
glass coffee table kind of
yep,
family. Or like, this
100%.
is not right. This is not going well. Like, this is cool. We can make this work for the kids, but yeah, we are definitely not white leather couch family
Yeah,
here.
work in like medical, like the medical field, or
Yes.
work at
Yeah.
some job where you're like, wow, that's a
There were, yeah,
wait, what
he
is
was a
that? I've
pharmaceutical
never even heard
salesman.
of it. Yeah,
There you go.
right.
You got,
You're
yeah.
like, how do you do?
Oh.
Oh, right. People have like real jobs. I forgot. All my friends have like these weird jobs that they kind of like hustled their way into, or they don't have jobs at all, and they're
Yeah.
always trying to find work and whatever. And like, oh, you just have like one of those real jobs. Like
Yeah.
you've been
Nothing.
doing this since you were like 23, and you have a savings plan and
There's
everything, and
nothing
you're
from
like
IKEA here. I don't recognize
30.
anything from IKEA in your
Right,
house. Like, I'm not sure
right.
what is
How
the
did you get
difference.
all this money? Oh, you've been working a real job for 10 years already, and
I
you're only
see.
35.
I see.
Right. That's the way it
I guess you
works.
could do
Got it.
that. Yeah, that was
I
the people.
started saving when I was 42. Not even that, 48. Great.
Oh my
Good.
god, so good. Well, we should transition. We should talk about Ned Raggett, and then we should talk about Hackers, our continuation of the science fiction summer film
Yes.
series. Ned, yeah, how great is his voice? Were you expecting that when he came on the
No.
microphone? No.
No.
I mean, I just felt like I wanted to have him on the radio because I wanted to hear his voice.
Well, because also, I mean, when you say music journalist and talking about all the bands that he had written about, or then you're like, you think of this kind of indie rock kind of guy, and then you get this like old school radio, like
Shadow
not even just his
Stevens,
voice, just
like,
totally,
yeah,
like the tone and the cadence of his voice, and the way that he talked. You're like, yeah, you've worked on like filling the airwaves for 20 minutes with talking interestingly,
the
so that
intonation, the thing,
so
he just
someone
went.
doesn't turn off the radio. Yeah.
Oh, I was glued. I was it was in theory a conversation, but I would feel like I was just listening to him. I was like, this is nice. Tell me more.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely it felt like an audiobook.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, not in a bad way, in a good way. It was like and you would, I feel like you would start the new chapter and like, so then what was it like growing up? And then he would go,
well,
let me tell you.
Thursday.
So there, and he already had it. He just like had it mapped out. He knew he had like, the records, they were ready to be referenced. They were and then I had like the Fisher Price record player, and I had this record for the Sesame Street.
But I just think that's his brain, the brain of a journalist and of someone who's been writing for decades, like has the story formed, and as he thinks in storylines, you got
ready to go.
Another bug.
Wait,
you really got something. It's on your back now. I just see him as they walk across your shoulder line. I'm so sorry.
It's so funny. You have better eyes than me. I think I need.
I do have my glasses. I do have my glasses on.
You have your glasses on. You're like, you're filled with bugs. And I'm like, oh.
No, I think they're like summer, like little flying
gnats
or something. Yeah.
I have to have my back door open, or the second I close the back door, the dog barks to get outside.
But yeah, no, he was just great. I think he just thinks, narratively and speaks narratively and has so many great things. But I was really just impressed. I think his, what came across was his sort of early identification of like kind of alternative and goth and sort of this like indie noise sort of like music coverage, which wasn't necessarily something that was on the radar, covering bands like My Bloody Valentine in that kind of way, of those, documenting them in such a personal way, I think really like stood out to me as a kid. And then just because no one was really, the just information superhighway wasn't filled with content.
Yeah.
You poke around and you come up, and he's been posting and writing for online and or for publications that had an online arm or had some version of that, and that's what really, sort of caught my eye early on. And just
So
kind
when
of following him. Yeah.
you first found him from the Kevin Shields
Interview. Yeah.
And were you just looking for interviews of
I was looking for
Kevin
any
Shields,
information
like
about My Bloody
Kevin
Valentine
Shields, or just
whatsoever.
information?
Yeah. I mean, because
Right.
Mid 90s, they'd already broken up or had gone defunct, and there was no new music. There was a couple remixes that he would do from time to time. I remember there was like a Yola Tango Autumn Sweater Kevin Shields remix, and there were a couple other like Kevin Shields remixes, but nothing like new music or records. And so when we first got the computer online, and when I was poking around looking for skateboarding and maybe Star Wars things and like guitars and music stuff, and I was like, okay, here we go. This is something. I couldn't believe that that anybody could talk to this person. It's hard to, I guess, put into context, like how much people would really just disappear pre-social media, pre-internet, in that kind of way. You know what I mean? Like people just didn't know, didn't hear from them.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about that before, of how different it was back then. Like even if you wanted to find like a Led Zeppelin interview, there would be one in like Cream magazine when the album came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. And maybe like Rolling Stone or some, like there would be like, okay, there's like 2 or 3 interviews, and then that's it. Like there's no information about any of those bands from back then other than what they wanted you to know, right? Like they wanted like, these is like very things. And then it really changed. I mean, I would say kind of punk kind of changed it, right? With zines and having more like kids making their own, like going and interviewing more bands that and having it be less official, kind of
maybe
like more,
kind of college radio, this sort of thing of like more up to the minute, there are things happening in real time. Yeah, but I think it was really, we think culturally we were just comfortable with that mystery around an artist. You know what I mean? If you think about,
you didn't need to know that much.
Like the amount of interviews of with the biggest pop star in the world like Michael Jackson or Prince or something. You know what I mean? There's probably less than 100. I don't know. You know what I mean? It'd be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you look at like major interviews of, where you have quotes and somebody sat down with them for an extended period of time for more than 10 minutes, but even like, talk shows, you'd have these talk show guests on for 5 minutes, if that 2-minute little sit downs,
controlled little sit down thing. Nothing would ever happen, or it would be some funny gag.
Yeah. It'd be a joke. And then, what I mean? I think we're just, especially as we grow into the 2020s and podcast and sort of TikTok and long form things, it's like some stars aren't even promoting things, but they'll just be on, you just like, I've seen more videos of Bill Hader in the last, 5 years. I don't even know what he's done in 5 years, but I've seen every talk show appearance he's done. It seems like there's just, the internet is filled with Bill Hader interviews and jokes and stories and things. And I'm like, I don't think he's had a movie out. I don't think Barry got
I'm getting a lot of Bill Hader content right now too.
Yeah.
There must be something coming. There must be some movie that's coming out. Maybe
he's going to be the voice of the Cat in the Hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that coming out
next year?
Okay. Yeah. So they're greasing the wheels.
Maybe.
They're getting you on that they're getting you on that Bill
Hader rhythm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a funny one, but yeah, no, I loved kind of hearing Ned's story and I think I don't know if it was clear as it came through, but he's also part of like library sciences and has worked for like the UC like college system and the library part. I don't think he's officially a librarian. I think like the library studies and library like staff is a very like tenured sort of thing. I think to call yourself a librarian, you have to have like certificate or some degree, some level of like academic achievement. But then to be
Yeah,
an archivist, that's another separate thing. I think, this is like the bowels and of academia are filled with degrees and letters of accreditation to be in a library. He has some kind of I don't know, doctorate of some sort of something. He's
yeah.
officially certified to be allowed to be behind the desk in a library.
Well, and I'd imagine in the UC system, that's a whole another nut to crack. I mean, it's
God
like a
bless him. Yeah,
massive
I have
amount of
no idea.
information. And
I guess, yeah, right. I mean, you need to. It sounds like it's like becoming a forklift operator or something. You have to have like your right clearances to be there. You can't just.
But then-
they're not just hiring anybody to be inside of a library.
but then eventually, you're the crane operator in New York City, like that's bringing the iron I-beams 90 stories up to the top of the building.
I guess so. I guess yeah. It'll take, but that's like the library version of that is like official like head library, coordinator.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. There's something that he
book-
was. I asked him if he was a librarian. He's like, oh God, no, it's something else. I'm like, oh wait, I'm lost already. Shit.
He's like works in the behind the scenes.
So I was like, kind
can't
of
tell
like
you.
archiving. Like, no, that's a whole other department. So you got archiving. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. Randy, you're asking too many questions.
Something. Yeah, I went through the.
I'm involved in library sciences. Keep it
Yes,
at that.
That's it. Yeah.
We don't talk about this. It's like Fight Club. Library club.
Yeah, the library club. You don't want to know, but
Look, I got a library gold card. That's all you need to know, pal.
yeah. All those late fees, they got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, right into my pocket.
Bookman. Remember the Seinfeld library fine collector?
No, I do not.
No, Mr. Bookman. Jerry, I don't like punks
this.
like you. It was the guy from Magnolia and Heart 8. Not Philip Seymour. Thomas Baker. Oh my God. Anyway, he's a good old actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
Yeah. Speaking of
Any
good
Simpsons, any library Simpsons references?
Probably. I just think of the Bart one with the butterfly. No one suspects the butterfly would do it. Anyway, the Hackers. Speaking of old actors and brains that don't work very well. How incredible! So we had 3 Jeffs on the podcast, and we've had 3 1995 cyberpunk hacker movies. This Hackers, I stayed away from it for so long. I had never seen it. It always looked horrible. It was like the cheesiest thing in the world.
I definitely had seen it because there were little glimpses that I remembered, but I couldn't remember. It's crazy to see Angelina Jolie that young.
I looked up; she was 20.
She's 20.
Yeah,
she looked like she was 15. She's like a baby, right? Like she still had like the kind of baby fat
cheeks,
face, and like, and her acting, like, it was like, it was so perfectly 90s of like kind of punk, post punk, post, like, I don't know, like industrial. It's very industrial. And who's the actor who played Shaggy in
Matthew Lillard?
Oh, yes.
He looks like a baby
God.
too. He looks like he's 12 years old.
Oh my God. And that character that he played was so horrible and annoying and, but so great and perfect and kind of like, I'm like, yeah, I had a couple friends who were right there. They were like on that,
too far out
on that path.
Character.
Mostly they would have had like hacky sacks and been a little bit less industrial. They'd have been more into like hippie, the hippie culture going on at that point, but they still would have had those same goofy braids, the little thin white people hair braids.
Yeah,
like 10 braids, and like, is that it? That's all the hair you got?
That's what you're doing? Okay, you wanted this?
But I watched it with Lila.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to know what was the teenager experience of
like
this.
16-year-old, she loved it. She loved the
30-year-old. Is this a 30-year-old film? 1995.
Yeah,
30 years. Okay,
30 years. And then she loved like the fashion of it, and then she was like, yeah, it's a good movie. It was like funny, and it was dumb, and and the acting, like even it was weird, like the main actor guy.
Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny that they still felt like they needed to put kind of like a football player looking dude in that, like as a, because like, well, we need a leading man, so he still needs to kind of look like he's dressed up. Like he didn't look natural. Like
They put that,
Angelina
like,
Jolie
yeah.
looked kind of natural in that character. Like the hacker kid that he becomes friends with, Zero, or what was his name? The kid with the
Oh.
long brown hair.
Oh yeah.
The other main kind of,
the kid.
like he looked natural,
like
right?
a kid,
Like he
kid.
looked like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Except he smoked like this. He's a very bad
Yeah.
smoker. Kind of a big weird
Yes.
like hand smoking. Yeah, no, it was great. I thought, the fashion. It seemed like it was like
the
definitely
main
costume
kid just
designer.
looked like a football player dressed up.
That's so funny you say that, because he was Sick Boy.
John Paul Gaultier.
Is that who did all the fashion for it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, it
John
felt
Paul
very
Gaultier did
intentional kind of thing. Very like,
yeah,
because it wasn't even like that was what people were wearing at the time. It was trying to future cast a little bit, and some things got right and some things were just like, I see the shape of it. I see what you're trying to do. That sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely extreme fashion.
Who was the main bad guy? With
Fisher Stevens? The
no,
plague?
with the he had the plastic.
Well, that's Gary Oldman. You're thinking of the Fifth
Gary
Element?
Oldman. Yeah.
John. Yeah. That was
wait.
Gaultier.
Sorry.
I was Fifth Element.
Sorry. We watched the Fifth Element right afterwards. I was like, wait,
that's wild.
So, you're right, because the Fifth Element was Jean Paul Gaultier.
Yeah. I don't think that's Hackers.
I'm switching them both.
It's a little bit high fashion.
Sorry, we got into the. She's like, "What other movies are like this?" And I'm like, "Well,
wow.
Fifth Element," and Fifth Element was 1996, 1997.
Right, yeah.
But it was right after that. Anyway, sorry, I'm switching the movies.
Besson.
I'm switching the movies right now.
Fifth Element's good. That's worth watching.
That's a whole different one. But yeah, back to Hackers. It's not Gaultier. But I did feel like watching those two movies, you could see, like you saw how quickly things went. Like how this technology thing, how quickly it went from 1995 to 1997. And even in 1995, like Hackers was such a kind of better, I don't know what did you think? It did feel a little bit more put together. It felt more put together like a Spielberg type film.
Which one? This Hackers?
Hackers. Like when they would go, like, I don't know, it felt like adventurous. It felt like,
well, it reminded me of like Ninja Turtles. Like I love a good layer, a good club scene that like like I've been to clubs for years. There was no clubs with skateboard ramps or like inline roller skate ramps so you could come in. Like you can't, even an underground club couldn't pull that off. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna say.
And then giant installed like video game systems and it's just like, oh, I love, but it's a layer. It's like a set piece thing for what the imaginary fantasy world of what we thought, what as children we thought being a teenager would be like.
Yeah.
Once I turn 15, I'm going to look like I'm a 25-year-old who works out all the time and has a hairstylist and a fashion person. Wardrobe assistant to pick out all of my clothes and put those on me, and then have my hair and makeup done correct every day. That's what I thought life would be like when I turned 15 and go to the.
It's gonna be
clubs.
all green drinks. We're gonna go places where all the drinks are well lit and they're like they're light, they're green, and then everybody's playing video games. There's no parents.
And everyone's a model. Yeah.
I did that. I did think the inline skate thing was hilarious.
They really doubled down on that one
because that was a very 95 like, no, the future is going to be where they're not really wrong in the sense that now there's like bird scooters and everybody's got like some kind of wheel there's an option to have some kind of wheeled transportation, e-bikes, city bikes, but the inline skates did not make their way into the future like they thought. It was funny that when they went to the video game club scene, that Lila was like, "Whoa, is this what parties were like?" They're like,
yes, exactly.
No.
Yeah, you just lie. Yep. Everywhere in the 90s looked exactly like this.
Yeah. everything that you guys are doing now, that's exactly what it looked like back then.
Yeah.
It has not
It's
changed.
mostly just backyards with red Solo cups and kegs. Yeah. And
Mhm.
somebody's crappy boombox.
Yeah.
But I thought, I mean, you know, they were trying to all of just the inside of the computer stuff. I feel like that's the biggest thing. And I remember even at the time, you know, I mean, it's like, yeah, they worked so hard to make being on the computer seem sexy. You know, that there's like
Yeah.
architecture and there's things and numbers and equations and Greek, you know, characters flying at you, and you
Yeah.
know, and like wavy times while listening to Orbital or something, you know. But this was
Totally.
the year before Train Spotting, and Johnny Lee Miller was Sick Boy in Train Spotting, and that use of like kind of like rave culture and rave music, you know, was like really, you know, I think more down to earth in a darker, obvious kind of way that wasn't. Then Train Spotting is not necessarily about technology, but it is about, you know, sort of the more realistic side of like, you know, I don't know, that kind of like young person, you
Young
know,
person, digital
depression
culture.
and or at least like, I don't know, just what maybe a more accurate version of what people in their 20s were doing in the 90s. They were doing heroin and going to raves and
Yeah.
living at home.
Yeah.
Not necessarily hacking the planet and crashing tanker subs. They were scoring bad heroin and trying not to OD.
Yeah. But still, like, I think too that this, it's crazy how much that they just had to go like, no, if you know a couple passwords, you're gonna be able to hack into the world. And that there was always, that's like
that goes back to war games. That goes back to the beginning
that's
of
the
this whole thing.
right?
Yeah.
It's like we just need to know like what are the most common passwords or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
God,
there's like
sex,
just try God,
money.
sex, and money or whatever. And they're like, yep, that worked.
Oh, and Lorraine Bracco from Goodfellas.
Oh, right.
And from The Sopranos, you know,
Yep.
Dr. Malfi.
Yep.
She was, but that wig looked so bad. She had like such blonde hair.
I know.
It was terrible.
I didn't think it was her at first. I'm like, that looks.
The voice sounds so familiar. Yeah, it's definitely her
Yeah.
voice. Yeah, Hackers was great. Ned Raggett interview was great. Yeah. I'm trying to think where we're at. Yeah. You can follow us on wherever you follow podcasts. Go there. You can write us at hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. Follow Aaron at Aaron Farley was it at Aaron Photo? I forget, what do we have?
Aaron Farley.
At Aaron Farley on Instagram.
Yep.
At Randy S. Randall. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Awesome.
Right. Cool.
Thanks, Randy.